What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Hope things are going well. Hope your day is going well. Also, look, today we got some rather interesting news from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm really not sure how to make of it. Like, it honestly didn't make sense to me. But the news was that Russell Wilson is in line to start this weekend against the New York Jets. And like I mentioned, just the news did not make sense to me. Now, if you have not kept up with the Steelers recently, they are currently 4-2, and Justin Fields has been their starting quarterback, and he has had them absolutely rolling right now. They have been playing, I don't want to say like amazing, but he's been doing enough to get them wins. They started off under the first couple games, and they hadn't lost, and then they lost 2 games. But currently they're sitting 4-2, and this is going to be, if Russell Wilson ends up starting this weekend, it's going to be very interesting. Now, the reason Russell Wilson has not played is because he's been nursing a calf injury, I believe. And so it's kept him out. So he's been inactive for a little bit, and then he's been the backup quarterback. But now it looks like he could potentially be starting against the Jets on Sunday Night Football. Now, I say that news is rather interesting to me. One, because like I said, Justin Fields has been getting the Steelers to 4-2. Like, it's not a bad record to start off, especially with how that team is. Just, I didn't expect them to be 4-2 at this point. So the fact that Justin Fields has them there is interesting. Now, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are 2 completely different quarterbacks in my opinion. Of course, Justin Fields is more of a run-based quarterback. Of course, he's able to sit in the pocket and throw, but I feel like he's better on the move, whether that be running or just moving him outside the pocket. Now, Russell Wilson is more of, he can run, but he's going to sit in the pocket. He's going to try to pick you apart from the pocket as a pocket passing QB. So it gets interesting because, one, you started out this season with Justin Fields and you've had the Steelers playing one way, and then you're going to turn around and have the offense play a different way now, because you can't run the offense the same way you ran it with Justin Fields like you run it with Russell Wilson. Another interesting point with this is that the Steelers' offensive line has really been hit or miss this year. Like, there was one play I saw where the right tackle just completely whiffed on a block, and Justin Fields came back and immediately shot upfield to avoid taking the sack and ended up turning it into a positive gain. You're not going to see those type of things with Russell Wilson every week, just because that's not who he is as a quarterback compared to Justin Fields, who's going to run if the lane is there. Russell Wilson may end up taking that sack if he's in that same position. So I'm not really sure how it's going to benefit the Steelers to play Russell Wilson this weekend. It'll be interesting to see if it does end up happening. Now, they also did say that both quarterbacks could end up playing this weekend. For NFL-wise, I just don't like the 2 quarterback thing. I understand if you want to throw your opponent off. Maybe it's a ploy to get the Jets to have to be prepared for both quarterbacks. I don't really know. Hopefully, in my mind, I think Justin Fields should remain the starter. I think he's had that team rolling right now. They've looked decent enough to win games. Even the games they've lost, they've been close. I know, like the Cowboys game, they were in the game and the offense struggled a little bit. But I just don't think it's necessarily fair to the offense to just swap out different quarterbacks and have them prepare just to have a new style of quarterback. Now, of course, they get paid millions of dollars to do this. So who am I to say they can't do it, of course? But it's just going to be interesting to see if the Steelers can maintain the same level of play they've had with one quarterback switching over to another quarterback. Now, last time we saw Russell Wilson, he was in Denver on the Broncos, and honestly just did not look too good. I'm not sure what changed from Russell Wilson going from Seattle to Denver and now to Pittsburgh. It's like he just kind of fell off a roller coaster and just hasn't retained what he had in Seattle. In my mind, he probably should have stayed in Seattle, but that's neither here or there. But just how he was in Denver just was not good. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can pick it back up with Pittsburgh and just how things will go. Now, of course, Pittsburgh has some talent on their roster. Of course, Freiermuth at tight end. They do have Pickens at wide receiver, who's just been up and down this year as well. You got Najee Harris in the backfield. So there's talent on that Steelers offense. Of course, y'all know the defense, T.J. Watt. You got Joey Porter Jr. They have talent for sure on the defense. We know how the defense is, but it's about how the offense is going to react to switching quarterbacks and potentially having to do that, or just playing with 2 different style of quarterbacks in the same game. I don't know how it's going to go, but if it does happen, I will be tuned in just to kind of get an idea of how that looks. Like I mentioned earlier, I think it would be better for them if Justin Fields remains a starter. Now, if he starts messing up, starts having a bunch of turnovers and starts costing them games, I understand wanting to try out Russell Wilson and giving him the opportunity to be able to prove himself that he can handle the offense better than Justin Fields, but I think right now it's kind of putting Justin Fields at a disadvantage, and almost reminds me of the same situation he was in with the Bears last year, where it just wasn't. I don't think the Bears was a good situation for him, and they weren't getting him the talent that he needed, like they have done with Caleb Williams. So, like I said, I'm curious to see how this will go. Let me know in the comments if you're a Steelers fan and how you think this will go if they end up starting Russell Wilson. And which quarterback do you prefer? Do you prefer Justin Fields or Russell Wilson? Of course, they do play the Jets this weekend on Sunday Night Football. The Jets just traded for Davante Adams, so they're getting a boost on their side. The Jets are going to be ready. I'm sure they're going to be excited to see just Davante Adams on the field with Aaron Rodgers again. So Steelers got to come ready. Steelers got to come prepared, and hopefully they have everything together come Sunday Night Football. But it's just going to be one of those things where we have to wait and see how things play out. But like I said, let me know in the comments which quarterback you prefer, Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, and what you think of the news that came out of the Steelers potentially starting Russell Wilson over Justin Fields. As always, I do appreciate y'all for stopping in. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button and all notification bells so you can see today when I post new content. And as always, I'll catch y'all in the next video.